Hey everyone, and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about some common mistakes that I find when doing audits of Facebook ad accounts, especially for ad accounts for direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands. And every month we complete a few of these complimentary at the agency, just as part of the strategic account plan that we prepare for new prospective clients. It's obviously a great opportunity for us to gather more context about that specific brand just by looking at the raw data in their ad account. And it also gives us a chance to provide some upfront value over to the prospect by just giving them hopefully some good feedback about what we see in the account that could ideally improve their performance in a big way. So occasionally we're able to give some really good feedback, and that's always exciting to be able to tell someone that they're doing a great job and to just keep it up. But more likely than not, if they're asking us to audit the account, they're probably not as pleased with the performance as they could be, and they're looking to improve it. The bottom line is a lot of the time when we do these audits, it's honestly the same issues over and over in most every account that we audit. So today I'm going to break down some of those common mistakes I've seen personally in the last 3 to 6 months. Our audit process usually consists of a conversation with the prospect and then a review of both the Facebook ad account and the Google Analytics account. So I'll bucket those I'll bucket these sort of recommendations of basically common mistakes into those 3 buckets. Before we get started, just a quick intro on myself. I'm Brockton and I run Kintsugi Digital, which is an e-commerce agency based in Fort Worth, Texas. We partner with several different direct-to-consumer brands to operate and scale their business through things like strategy, Facebook and Google ads, and email marketing. If you don't mind taking a quick second to smash the like button on the video, that will definitely, of course, help me out within the YouTube algorithm. All right, so number 1, not having a paid social channel in Google Analytics. So usually our audits start with a deep dive in Google Analytics to look at some basic traffic and conversion rate data. And specifically, we sort of evaluate the current state of the brand's performance by looking at metrics like breakdown of traffic acquisition by channel, website session volume measured over time, traffic quality metrics, things like bounce rate or average session duration, and then storefront conversion rate, ultimately looking at things like AOV or RPC, which is revenue per click. And usually we find that the Google Analytics account doesn't have a dedicated paid social channel actually set up. And properly segmenting traffic from Facebook ads and other paid social channels for that matter is crucial in actually evaluating traffic quality and other post-click experience data metrics like bounce rate and things like that from information that you're not going to see within Ads Manager, and then even ultimately looking at last click revenue attribution. So this is even going to become even more important to have this set up, especially with the rollout of iOS 14.5 or 4, or wherever it's going to end up being, where the ATT prompt pops up there. So I've recently uploaded a video, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, showing exactly how to get this set up. But I would say this is probably the most common thing that we see in Facebook ad account processes. Rarely does a client have, or a prospect rather, already have this channel set up, created within Google Analytics. Number 2, no middle funnel engagement-based audiences. So there's 3 main types of targeting within Facebook advertising. So you've got prospecting, which would be your top of funnel, retargeting, mid-funnel, and then reacquisition, which would be previous customers. Obviously, those can be broken down further, but that's kind of the main 3: prospecting, retargeting, and reacquisition. So retargeting can include everything from a homepage visitor to a cart abandoner, or even someone who is engaged with the brand on Instagram. They can literally just like an Instagram photo. So most accounts that we audit have at least some form of retargeting in place, but it's usually limited to on-site activity. So this is great for like a bottom of the funnel campaign, like dynamic product ads served to recent page viewers of like a product page. But there's definitely an opportunity to increase the retargeting audience size just by expanding retargeting audiences to include things like recent Facebook and Instagram page engagers, or even syncing with Klaviyo, so that you can get people who have recently opened an email within your retargeting funnel, even if they might not have engaged with you on the website or on social recently. Like some of my favorite, I guess, mid-funnel audiences that we use a lot are past 30-day Facebook page engagers, past 30-day Instagram engagers, past 30-day email opens, and then even using, like, if you have influencers that you work with, using their audiences as well. So targeting people who like an influencer's page, or even going as far as to target people and a custom audience of people who have recently engaged with that influencer, both on Facebook or Instagram. And because the ROAS, or return on ad spend, for retargeting ads is inherently going to be much higher than a prospecting campaign, it's often super advantageous to expand it as much as possible. And of course, obviously important to align ad creative and messaging to the audience based on where they are within the customer journey, knowing that obviously you should speak to someone who just abandoned cart yesterday differently than you might talk to someone who maybe engaged on Instagram but hasn't even been to a product page yet. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of maybe where to expand the mid-funnel, especially if your audience size for retargeting is pretty small right now. You might have a big social following on Instagram, and you're totally leaving that on the table if you're not just targeting engagement-based audiences off-site from the actual storefront. All right, third here would be no targeting exclusions within your prospecting campaigns. So a prospecting campaign should be cold traffic. And the objective of this campaign is to get new eyes on the brand using things like broad targeting or Facebook's AI to even serve ads to like completely a wide open large audience targeting. So because of this, it's really important to set up these targeting exclusions to filter out warm traffic. And in most cases, this means excluding some combination of previous customers and website visitors. And usually you can do this a couple different ways. You can sync your email list or upload the list to filter that out as a custom audience. And you can also layer in like filtering out past 180-day purchasers through the pixel. So you can kind of put two different levels of exclusions within like your prospecting campaigns to make sure that you're filtering out at least as much as you can anyone who's certainly on your already email list. Because this might even actually hurt your ROAS metrics that you see in Ads Manager, but you can definitely be more confident that your prospecting budget isn't being allocated like to reacquiring customers that you already have on your list or have already had a purchase before. Not that you wouldn't maybe target them separately with a dedicated campaign with a small percentage of your budget, but you don't want those flooding into your top of funnel campaigns, which are again focused on trying to acquire new customers and get your brand in front of new people. And this is something we rarely see when we're auditing an account. Is usually there's no exclusions across the whole account whatsoever. If you have paid search experience, think of this the same way you would want to separate your campaigns for branded search versus generic or categorical search. So you'd likely want to exclude branded terms from your categorical search campaigns, right? Same situation here with filtering out customers or recent site visitors from paid social prospecting. All right, fourth, undesirable conversion rate from organic traffic. So I'll quote myself from an article I wrote sometime last summer. If your store isn't already converting well from organic channels, investing in paid traffic is not going to go well. And the reality is that in most cases, paid traffic is going to be of lower quality than organic traffic. That's just inherent. So we can objectively measure this through things like bounce rate, email opt-in rate, and then obviously conversion rate. So sometimes when we're auditing an account, we'll see a very low conversion rate from organic channels like direct, search, email, or organic social. And more specifically, sometimes we're usually looking at RPC, which is revenue per click, which is just a function of AOV times conversion rate. This actually helps kind of compare conversion rates or RPC for brands with low AOVs to brands with high AOVs to get more comparable benchmarks in terms of measuring what like good and bad is, all relative to traffic quality. So a low RPC ultimately from organic traffic is going to be a red flag because it means people who already know about your brand are not biting. And that's, if they're not biting, then trying to find new people definitely won't work, probably, right? So in this situation, sometimes we'll audit an account and a brand is spending thousands of dollars a month getting unprofitable results on paid advertising because they haven't even taken a look at what their metrics are that they need to actually stay profitable. But they're doing this like while they have a horrible organic conversion rate. So the issue here is it's not even maybe the ad account. It might be just poorly converting landing page or entire website experience, or just a product without product market fit, right? So a good rule of thumb, get your organic RPC to a good place before you're spending money on paid advertising. All right, number 5, and I kind of alluded to this in the last, but not having profitability-based ROAS targets or return on ad spend targets. So business owners deserve to be called out for this, mostly for their wallet's sake. And it's an issue that I see discussed all the time within the direct-to-consumer or marketing Twitter community. So if you're spending money on Facebook or any channel for that matter without having a clear picture on how you'll measure your success, it's like walking blind into a war, right? Like it's imperative that metrics like contribution margin, break even return on ad spend, and target return on ad spend are calculated and established first before you're spending money. How else will you decide whether you need to spend more or whether to spend less? Or how else will you be able to even determine whether or not you're profitable? You won't, right? So often when we have a consultation with a prospect, these are some of the first questions that we ask. And often we don't get concrete answers. And this would be from someone who is already spending money on advertising. They don't know what they would consider to, be successful or not. So some accounts need, to be fair, different ROAS targets for different SKUs and things like that. So it's important to acknowledge that. But either way, no profitability-based ROAS targets is a big mistake. Number 6, poor link quality metrics. So in this case, we're going to manually calculate link quality using link clicks divided by landing page views. And this equation serves as a way to measure the drop-off in the time it takes from a website to load after an ad is clicked. In this case, as you see in the screenshot here, we have link quality manually set up as a custom metric within Ads Manager. So often it's going to take, if it takes any longer than 3 or 4 seconds for a page to load, like the user is going to bounce. And who could blame them, right? I mean, it's difficult to stay above 95% on this metric, but anything below 85% is an issue. So if you're coming across a situation where like the link quality or the click quality is less than 85%, usually you need to go back and look at like load time for your landing pages and website in general, and just especially make sure that the page is optimized to load quickly on a mobile device within in-app browser of like Facebook or Instagram's in-app browser. Because if you're running ads with a low link click quality, like it's a big mistake because it's going to cost you money for all of that churn from people who aren't even waiting for your landing page to load. And there's usually some easy ways to fix it just by improving the loading time on the page. If you have a bad link click quality issue and you can just improve how fast the page loads, you're going to dramatically improve your Facebook ad results just by taking care of that one issue. And finally, number 7, and probably the biggest mistake of them all, is no diversity of ad creative. So just this week, I audited, or I guess in the last 2 weeks, I audited 3 different Facebook ad accounts that had only a single ad per ad set. So there was no creative testing whatsoever. And especially with broad targeting and large audiences working so well right now for a lot of accounts, creative is likely the first thing that should be tested. It's probably the thing that's going to move the needle the most. And there's almost never a good reason why only one version of an ad should be in place. Even if you're just testing some different copy variants of like a dynamic carousel ad. So nothing more to say here, but test, learn, optimize, repeat forever, right? Should always be testing. So that's it. So great. I hope you learned something in the video today that you can apply immediately to your ad account to improve your performance. If you'd like for me or someone from my team to audit your account, we do that at the agency for no cost. And I'll be sure to add links to a form on our website where you can get that process started. So once again, please like the video, smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.